for Caleb Williams in Chicago.
No, he's got 2 more guaranteed years on his contract after this one. He was, as we just discussed, the #1 pick. Those guys get a long leash. I do think there are some interesting factors here. They've built up a lot of good stuff around Caleb Williams, and then it comes out the stuff in Seth Wickersham's book about how he didn't want to go to Chicago. I wonder if things go badly, how much patience that fan base will have. I get probably a lot because it's been so long since they've had a good quarterback, but he'll get some leash.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there's more to dive into that. We will. But Bart, let's go to Jayden Daniels. Is he in the MVP race this season for sure?
I think he is. I think they surrounded him with all the talent that he wants. And being that dual threat, he's always able to get himself out of trouble no matter if that offensive line is good or not. I think not even a sneaky pick. I think he should be top 5 as far as MVP candidate.
And he is on ESPN Bet Sportsbook as far as the odds. And then getting away from the younger quarterbacks, D-Wood, what version of Dak Prescott do you expect to see this year?
Are we going to get the healthy version? That will tell everything, because when Dak Prescott is healthy and he plays a full slate of games, guess what? He's a top 10 quarterback, and the Cowboys, they go to the playoffs. That's what you get with Dak Prescott. Get George Pickens coming over this year, who's in a contract year, to go along with CeeDee Lamb. I expect a big year out of Dak.
Maybe that's why Dak is optimistic heading into the season. He has only one thing on his mind right now.
I want to win a championship. Be damned if it's just for my legacy or it's for this team, for my personal being, for my sanity. The legacy will take care of itself. I have to stay where my feet are.
We're going to win. And when we win, our coaching staff is going to get raided, and people are going to come after our coaches because we're going to win.
I love it. I love it from Brian Schottenheimer. Why not? Why back away from that stuff? Where we're just going to control, or doing Belichick. Everyone's got to have their own personality. Sure. If that's his personality, then I don't. When you're the Cowboys, it doesn't make any difference what you say. You're going to get all the attention and all the pressure and all the praise and all the blame, regardless of depending upon which way the circumstance goes. So I like it. And as far as Dak Prescott's legacy right now, he's a very rich man who's a very good player, but like Tony Romo before him, there's one big thing missing from the resume. Let's see if he can do it.
And that is the thing. We won't know. I mean, if he's fully healthy, to D. Wood's point, I think they have a good enough team that they can be in the playoffs this year. That's when it starts. That's when the evaluation of Dak Prescott moving forward starts, is once they get to the play. If they miss the playoffs, I think that's a flop. But if they get there, they have to start winning some games once they get there, right? His rookie season was about as close as they could, right? I mean, I know they've won first-round game, but, that game against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but it feels like they haven't gotten much closer since then. So whatever it is about the Cowboys that when they get to the playoffs they fizzle out, they've got to figure out a way to get it fixed.
So the answer to the question on the screen there right now, how important is this for Dak and his legacy and all the rest of that? It's the biggest contract in the history of the league. That adds some layer of attention to it as well. What do you think?
Yeah, he's played the game the right way with the contracts, but now he needs the postseason success. You think about the 90s and what those guys are. Those guys are able to walk around because they were able to win the championship. And they've been riding off of that coattail. I think Dak has to figure a way out to get it done, but his window is still open because he's a quarterback and quarterbacks play so much longer. They're building it the right way through the offensive line. They're young. But I think this year's season doesn't really rest on Dak Prescott. I think it rests on Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, because if they can come back, then they can maybe stop that leaky run defense, because you can put that extra guy into the box. And they're going to need that because they're still light when it comes to the defensive line.
But the attention will be on the quarterback, rightly or wrongly. The Cowboys have been about the quarterback. They're about the star. They've had great ones. Roger Staubach won championships. Troy Aikman won championships. That's why I mentioned Romo. Romo was a terrific player who put huge numbers up, but didn't win the big ones. And here's Dak, who does a lot of the same things, and so we'll see which of those categories he's going to fall into.
Dak's he's heard all the noise. He understands it. That's when you can just tell by his facial expression when he talk about legacy. He knows it starts after the regular season. He's done everything as far as regular season is concerned. It's when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and you talk about quarterback play in particular, your legacy starts in the postseason. That's where Dak Prescott has come up short.
Well, if you listen to the odds makers, they don't have them anywhere near the playoffs. They have them the 4th worst team in the NFC. No. I myself don't buy it. Let me put a bow on an incredible weekend in sports, take you through some of the things you may have missed. If I said Aaron Rodgers makes the Steelers instant contenders, is that overreaction.
Yes, he didn't make the Jets instant contenders, not to bring up a sore subject, but yes, it's an overreaction. He's 41, going to be 42 by the end of the year, and this is not a team that was like plug-in quarterback and now you have a contender. They have question marks on the offensive line. They have one receiver who's averaged 73 catches a year in his NFL career. They have a defense that's average age is like 28, 29, probably one of the older defenses in the league. And by the way, they're having the exact same problem right now with TJ Watt that the Bengals are having with Trey Hendrickson, and nobody's getting on their case about it. I think Pittsburgh could be in for a rough one.
Okay, so it's an interesting little scenario here. Let's live in a world where this doesn't go well. I'm on record as saying I think it's going to go well. Right. But if it doesn't, here's the question of the day. Who needs this more? Who needs this year to go well more? In any way you want to take this question, Mike Tomlin or Aaron Rodgers?
I think it's Mike Tomlin, because Mike Tomlin's been there 18 years. He hasn't won a playoff game in 8 seasons, and it's getting stale. You talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, we think about continuity and consistency. You think about Bill Cowher being there for, I believe, 15 seasons, Chuck Noll being there for 23. And he's been there 18. Sometimes you just need a change. It could be good for both sides if this season doesn't go well. The Kenny Pickett thing is what comes back to haunt them, that trying to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback is tough to do.
Who needs this more, Tomlin or Rodgers? D. Wood?
Tomlin. Listen, I'm not sitting here and going to expect a 41 that's going to be a 42-year-old quarterback during the season to all of a sudden put this Pittsburgh Steelers team on his back and get them to the level of the Kansas Cities, the Buffalo, the Baltimores. No, I'm going to the guy that has raved about, talk about the standard is the standard. What in the world is the standard in Pittsburgh right now? Because the damn sure is not winning playoff games. Mm-hmm. That's where we're at with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. They haven't won a playoff game since 2016. That's a long time for a storied franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What do you think, Dan?
Well, I think Tomlin, Tomlin's not on the hot seat, right? It's Pittsburgh. They don't fire coaches. Now, if they get to a point with Tomlin at some point, whether it's next offseason or sometime in the future where it's time to go their separate ways, I think, he probably has some say in that as well. But, to your point, what are the Pittsburgh Steelers under Mike Tomlin? They are a team that wins at least as many games every year as its talent dictates it should. He gets the most out of the rosters he has. Now, they haven't had postseason success. So you can make the question becomes, are they good enough? Like the team he got into the playoffs last year had no business beating the Buffalo Bills in the first round. That was a mismatch. So are they going to be good enough roster-wise for a Mike Tomlin coached team to get the most out of an already good roster versus getting something good out of a mediocre roster, which I think is what he's been doing the last few years?
See, it's an interesting question to me because I think for both people involved, their legacies are relatively secure. Right? Tomlin, no one is going to say the local fans are a little weary or restless when it comes to Tomlin, but generally speaking, he's extremely high regarded. That won't change. Rodgers is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That won't change. But as far as what I think the immediacy of this all is, everything was on Rodgers' plate with the Jets. When that didn't go well, even the things that weren't his fault got blamed on him. I think now it's the opposite. I think everything is on Tomlin's plate. Everyone figures if this doesn't go well, I think it more reflects on him than it reflects on Rodgers.
Which is why I believe they took this risk with Aaron Rodgers, knowing what comes with him, because they know how important it is for them just to see that they can get a postseason victory. Now, last year, 10-7, getting to the playoffs, you add a player like Aaron Rodgers, you have a shot. I think a playoff win kind of makes Tomlin secure.
They're going to win a lot of games this. I'm telling you right now, I think
they always
better
do
than people think. Let me run the bases though, because I got a text from.
Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn cách làm một chiếc vòng đeo tay đơn giản từ len nhé. Nguyên liệu đây nha, mình sẽ sử dụng hai màu sắc len như thế này để làm này, màu hồng và màu đen nhé. Mình sẽ tạo ra một chiếc vòng đeo tay thật xinh. Dùng kim móc len này, kéo, rồi. Giờ sẽ bắt tay vào làm nhá. Mình sẽ sử dụng cái phần len màu đen nhé. Mình làm vòng tay màu đen nhé. Mọi người đo cho mình với cổ tay, đo với cổ tay, được một cái mảnh như thế này.